Hello.
What's up, Dustin?
Corey Meeker, how are you, sir?
Oh, very good. Thank you for asking. And yourself?
I'm also excellent. Happy Monday. It's I appreciate you being able to reschedule with us this quickly. Corey had a car accident that happened last week with a family member, and everybody's okay. But we're excited to hang out today.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here. Glad you were able to make the time this Monday.
So, Corey, tell me a little bit about REI Print Mail.
Yeah, so we've been in the printing game for about 30 years, a little over 30 years now, and then specifically in the real estate space for 20 of those years. When we first started out, we were just doing mailings and print collateral for banks and car dealerships, restaurants, hospitals, police departments, and the list goes on and on and on. And then we soon linked up with an investor, 20 years ago, and he wanted to send direct mail for real estate. And then ever since there, we've just been off to the races. And since then, I mean, we send on average 2 to 3 million pieces of mail per month throughout the entire country. And in doing so, it puts us in a unique position to tell our investors and our clients exactly what's working where and what's working best in terms of direct mail.
2 or 3 million records a month is amazing. So that's big business, guys. Okay. Let's go. We'll get into what all that means and how that comes to be. But let's talk about the different channels that investors are currently using for their marketing strategies. A lot of investors are still using SMS and making outbound calls and maybe pay-per-click and Facebook and door knocking, driving for dollars. What would you say the differences between these other mediums and channels and mailers?
Well, here's what I will say. Text as often and as frequent as you possibly can, because it's soon coming to a screeching halt. And if you guys or if anybody watching this is sending text messages, you already know the connectivity rate has decreased substantially over the last year or so, just with new laws in place. And many providers are also spamming text messages. And then for every time that text gets sent, it goes into a spam folder. It's identified as spam, and then that phone number is no longer accurate in terms of being able to send messages from it. However, there's a ton of deals to be made, guys. So still do it while you can. It's kind of like bandit signs. And so there's a little sticky, if we should be doing it's like speeding, But send out bandit signs. It's called bandit for a reason, but you should still do it just if you're mindful about the process in which you're doing it. Now, I'm no lawyer. Anything that I say here is just my opinion. So don't take it to the bank, if you will. But another thing to consider with texting and cold calling is that whenever we skip a list, and just from industry averages, if we skip a list of, let's say, 10K, we usually get about 8K back. About 80% of the list comes back with phone numbers.
Sure.
Of the phone numbers, usually about, I want to say, Dustin, you could say this even better than I could, but usually around 9 to 13% of the phone numbers have no connectivity rate, or it's just the wrong number.
Sure. Yep, it's wrong.
So that leaves a large percentage of the data set that you're looking to get in front of. You can't get through them in means of texting and cold calling. You have to use other channels as if like direct mail to get in front of those folks.
That's right. So I completely agree. So so I think that direct mail, the way that I look at direct mail is it's your intent. Your everything's about your cost per conversion, right? And so cost per contract. And so when you're looking at a cost per contract, if you were going to make outbound calls and text messages are both going to have really hard times getting through in the future. But if you're making outbound calls, or if you're making outbound text messages, and you get someone to say, yeah, under the right circumstances, I would sell my house. I have to imagine that lead is going to traditionally, typically, statistically be significantly lower intent than someone who would call off of a mailer. Do you have any information along those lines?
Yeah, and so for those of you that are listening in right now, the conversations that you're having with folks that are responding to a text message, or a cold call, the conversation is a lot different than when somebody is calling you that wants to sell their house and asking you to make an offer. It's just a completely different conversation that you have right out of the get-go, because there's already motivation there.
That's right. So the the people that respond off of that cold call, they say maybe, yes. There's a guru that gave me some statistics on what his call center was doing. This was over a year and a half ago, so it may not apply as much, but he had to go through 140 leads out of his Mexican call center, a Latin American call center, in order to get one wholesale deal. And he had to go through 165 Filipino transfer leads from his call center in order to get one wholesale deal. And so I know that, from my friends that are doing mailers with you guys, actually, that, on a per call basis, they're closing significantly more than that. Do you have any information along the lines of, some of customers and response rates and cost per contract, any of those things?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all depending on the market. So like, let's say in Arkansas, the cost per contract is around $1,300 to $1,500. In California, the cost per contract is closer to $4,500 with direct mail, just because response rates are different. However, it's hard to say how many conversations my client needs to acquire to equal one deal, but an industry average is 25. 25 conversations equals one deal. If it doesn't, we're no longer faced with a lead gen issue. It's more of a conversion issue. And our team at REI Print Mail can help folks with that too. A lot of folks, sometimes you're just not saying the right thing to the seller on the phone on that initial that phone call. And many times we can make a small tweak in their talk track to acquire an appointment, which then in turn will lead into more deals.
It's a great point. So it's one of the really cool things about REI Print Mail is that, most companies have sales managers, right? And you guys don't have sales managers. You guys have account managers. You guys have, you're a bunch of gurus. Corey's a guru hanging out. And the only thing that you have to do, you don't have to pay him a massive amount of money up for education. You just have to buy some mail, which is going to make you money in the first place. So you want free gurus, go to REI Print Mail, right? So that's, it's a great point. So you guys have a really cool process where you're really becoming a partner with the customer, and you're making sure that, hey, if this thing didn't test out perfectly, then we know that this thing will work. And especially for those that are having a harder time getting a phone call through, or a harder time getting a text message through, or pay per click is really expensive too. It'd be a great opportunity to call up Corey and figure out how the mail channels work with you. So Corey, I know that you can't give it on a market by market basis, but we have in the Geopoint Data customer funnel, we have customers that are either just starting out or significant players that have been doing this for some time, with various budgets. And so what is a general idea or range of what an appropriate budget would be to work with a company like yours for mailing for the purpose of lead generation?
Well, that's a good question. It's hard to answer too, because every market's a little bit different. But I'll give you an example of just one single client. Okay, a guy lives in Arkansas, like I was talking about before. We sent about $800 worth of mail out there, and he got 6 deals. So I was using. It's insane. I'm not telling everybody to expect it. All I'm just telling you is
sign me up 6 times.
To somebody else. No kidding. And that was using our soft offer mailer. And man, that thing has been killing it. I brought it with me too later on, or now I'll show you what it looks like. But what we've done is we've taken so of the estimated value. So like, guys, get a list from Geopoint. Included will be an estimated value of the property. Of that estimated value, what we'll do is we'll rip 80% of it and print it on a check. And then that check, it'll show through a windowed envelope. And it looks exactly like this. So that offer at 80%, they'll call you wanting it. And all day long, you and me both would buy a property in impeccable condition of 80% of the market value. So nobody could say that you want it. And then on the check too, there is a disclaimer. You may not be able to see it very well from my camera, but there is a very small disclaimer underneath the signature that states this offer is contingent on the condition of the property. So my client, that's just one instance, a single one. I've got a lot of them, but he texted me. He's like, he's a new investor, like some of you may or may not be. He's like, Corey, I can't get them off the offer amount. And I texted him back. I was like, don't worry about that. Just say it's contingent on the condition of the property and schedule an appointment. He didn't reply back because I think I poked at his sales techniques, but he texted me a week later. He says, never mind the negotiations. I closed 3 deals yesterday and I got 4 contracts signed today. And that was an $800 mailing. So it's freaking insane. I know, right? It's been extremely exciting at REI Print Mail because we have not seen response rates as high as this in a long time. I mean, 2-3% response rates when industry average is about a 0.5% response rate. That's usually what can be expected. So if we did anything and if we hop on a call, I'm going to suggest the soft offer mailer all day long. So if we do talk, prepare for me to tell you about the soft offer mailer again.
Yeah, of course. No, it's such a brilliant move. And so, so let's go deeper into the soft offer mailer. So, the objective here is that you're trying to get a home seller to raise their hand and communicate with you, but you're really looking for a home seller that is motivated to whatever degree. And so, what do you guys do for? I own a data company, but what do you guys do in order to, determine who you're going to be mailing to?
We'll get with Geopoint Data, and so what we can do is we have to identify what motivation consists of, and we can do it really easily by stating what isn't motivated. An owner occupied that bought the house 1 year ago probably doesn't have as high of a expectation to sell as the absentee owner that have owned the property for at least 5 years. So whenever building a motivated seller list, it's based on like, what type of criteria can we build on this to assume the highest level of motivation?
Yep, definitely. Yeah. So then, do you recommend one hit wonder? I mean, the group out of Arkansas that's quite a show, But what do you recommend? Do you recommend hitting a group of data more than one time, or is it usually just hit them one time, see what they do, or what's your strategy?
Yeah, in a perfect world, you should hit them at least 3 times. I've got a lot of my clients, believe it or not, but we'll hit the exact same list once a month for 12 months, like clockwork. And these folks are the guys that are closing 8, 9, 10 deals a month. So they have the budget to support staying in front of a group of people every month, like clockwork. Now, that example that we've been using of our Arkansas guy, he mailed that one time, 1 letter, 7 deals. It's kind of unheard of, but to say that smaller volumes won't work, or if you're just getting started, it's not so. I've got a guy in Georgia, and we started working together. I want to say it was 4 years ago. Small budget, but we stacked a few lists. We got tax delinquent, absentee, equity above 75%. And the property was vacant. So it was a bunch of lists, and we put them all together to see who on these 3 lists was on all 3 of them. And we only mailed that small niche list. He spent about $300-400 in the beginning. We mailed that list like 3 times. He got 1 deal. And as of today, 3 years into the future, the guy mails 7,000 mailers with me every single month, like clockwork ever since. And he's doing now 3 to 7 deals a month. So it's awesome to watch folks grow as well.
Sure. That's an interesting thought. So the fun thing about mailers is the shelf life, right? And so you want to go deeper into what shelf life is. I know what shelf life is, but I think you're going to do a much better job of explaining shelf life.
Oh, sure, man. Yeah, folks will hold on to your mail. So like, keep that in mind as well. Whenever you have, a tracking number that you purchased from wherever, let's call it CallRail, make sure to keep that phone number. Because it is printed on collateral, and it is on a tangible item. And many folks, they will keep this item, and they'll put it away in their home folder, or they'll even post it on the refrigerator. I've even seen folks that go walk properties, and like, they have the street view image mailer on their refrigerator, because like, it's a picture of the biggest purchase that the homeowner has ever made in their entire life, and there's a picture of it on the mail. And I've even heard folks say, we called you because we've never seen anything like this, and you literally had a picture of our house on it. And then whatever we can do, if you will, to get past the trash can. Let's assume Dustin and his wife had a conversation about selling, and Dustin's wife gets the mail, but because there was a picture, she decided, I'm going to save this just because I got to show Dustin that there's a picture of our house on this mailer. And now that they've had that conversation, what we've done is our job, getting past the trash can as she was sorting her mail over the trash. And then they saved our postcard because there was a picture on it.
It's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. Impactful. So the shelf life of these things I've gone into appointments, closing deals, and they'll have a stack of mailers sitting there. And a lot of people will use that as an argument against mailers, but it's the opposite. If you can figure out a way to differentiate yourself from that stack of mailers, then they will keep your card, and you'll be the first ones they call. And it's the old axiom in realtors, with realtors, is that the first one to the listing appointment gets the listing, and so I think it's like 1 out of 3 homeowners go with the first realtor that they meet, and it's the same thing with wholesalers. People don't want to go through the process. They don't want to go through the emotional uncertainty of having to meet different people, vet multiple people. They just want to make it easy on themselves. And so, it's get in the door and get a deal. That's it.
Yeah, and stay in front of them too. And many of my clients, guys, I've had that conversation with them, and they're like, yeah, mail just didn't work for me. And then I ask them a couple questions like, what mail piece did you send? What list did you send it to? Did you talk to anybody first? And like clockwork, I sent about 200-300 letters. I didn't get a single phone call. The list was like, I don't know, it was like absentee out of state. So absentee out of state is the #1 most targeted type of data that you'll ever mail to. So that usually provides like 0.25% response rate. So on that volume, 0.25% of 300 is less than 1 lead. The chances of converting less than 1 lead is pretty freaking slim. So if you're just going out there, you don't have to be on an island all by yourself when it comes to direct mail. So when folks call us, they stick with us because we tell them like, hey, I won't take your money. This is where you should be. And if it doesn't make sense for the budget to be here based on all the stats in your current market, here's a couple other options that you should take to get your first deal. And then when you're ready, come back. But we won't take everybody's money, dude, just in an effort to make a quick sale. We want long-term relationships and you to win and keep coming back.
Yeah. Well, you guys have done a great job sending out 2 to 3 million mailers a month. That's fantastic. And so when you talk about some of these bigger customers that are sending out 3 mailers at a time, or maybe 12 in a year, are they rotating the mailer? Are they doing the same thing? What's the strategy with that?
Yeah, so I've got one sequence of mailers. It's 6 different mailers sent in 3-week intervals. We've got the budget to support it. In a perfect world, every 3 weeks is the best time. It's the best time. Now, there's other data too, and on a coaching call, we'll explain this too, because there's also time decay lists like foreclosure and tax delinquent. It's going to a tax sale, so time is of the essence.
Definitely.
For that case, you'd want to hit them bi-weekly and then up to the sale date. So like if it's a month away, you may only be able to get in front of them 1 time, but it wouldn't make sense to mail to that list 6 times because it's expired at that point. But you want to know that unless you talk to somebody that can advise you and say, don't spend the money on it.
That makes plenty of sense. Yeah, that's great. And so then you have the targeted lists, and then you rotate the mailer. So I don't think I understood the answer to the question. So do you change up the mailer? Will you did the soft offer in mailer 1, and then you do different mailers after that, or is it always the same mailer that you send out?
Well, lately, because the soft offer has been performing at a rate that it has been performing, we created other soft offer mailers just to support something different to look at, because everybody resonates with different colors and different words and sizes. So like we created a big old letter, and this is, I'm going to stand up because it's gigantic.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at that.
So it's 11 by 17, but it too has a check on there.
Yep.
In and amount.
Yeah.
And then it's just tri-folded with the big cash offer enclosed on the outside. And that's how it goes through the mail. So it's gigantic. And then there's like soft offer postcard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, miss you. This would be like the 3rd time that we hit them.
Okay.
But everybody resonates to different messages. So it's best to test different messages, but test messages that have already been tested, and we've got millions of marketing dollars already backed behind what we put out on the website. Before we even put it on the website, we first beta tested with some of our bigger clients. And like with the soft offer mailer, I beta tested that for about 90 days just to see how well it would perform. And now it has a thumbs up.
Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
Super. All right, good. So we're choosing the right offer. So you're, let's say somebody is gonna we allow out do-it-yourselfers, right? And so they're going through and they say, well, I don't have a budget yet for REI print mail. I want to send out 10 offers. First off, we recommend that you don't send out 10 offers, right? But you need to be in the conversion. You have to understand that it takes 25 conversations to close a deal on average, and then to do the backwards math, even if you got the best performing at 2-3% response rate, is that right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how to do that math. Do I do 25 divided by 0.02?
Yeah. So like here,
yeah,
for easy math, 1% of 2,500 is 25 conversations. So
there you go.
In this event, we'd have to mail, if we got 1% response rate, we'd have to mail 2,500 letters, which would equal 25 conversations, which will convert to one deal.
Yep. Okay. So that's actually a really clean way to think about it. So
yeah.
For you guys that are looking to work with a professional company like REI Print Mail, that's simple. Come up with a number on how much it would $2,500 soft. I don't know why we don't go into pricing on these types of conversations, but generally make an assumption that 2,500 mailers will get you a deal. So save up that money and then call Corey, and so I think it's as simple as that. So then when the do-it-yourselfers are out there, handwritten offer kind of a thing, what type of a number are they going to choose for making a soft offer?
So, well, I've been using 80% of the estimated value. However, that's only in an effort to get the phone to ring. So with every offer that we make, when we send out 5,000 offers, it's just we're just trying to have a freaking conversation with somebody that raises their hand, that has an interest in selling their home. And then it's up to the client, to do the sales process, schedule an appointment with the seller, and then over the kitchen table is where most deals get done. But to answer your question, Dustin, in a perfect world, offers should be 70 to 75% after repair value minus repairs. So if it costs 40 G's to replace a roof, the home's worth 100K. So now it's down to 60K, and then 70% of 60K. So what's that? 35K, ish, 40K for the offer.
Yep, that makes plenty of sense. So, so from calculation perspective, I think that the summary is when you're going into this, you want to kind of tease them a little bit. You're looking to get that phone to ring. And then if that house is perfect, if it's in great condition, then you'll be able to figure out how to buy that thing for 80 cents on the dollar, because someone will buy it from you from 90 cents on the dollar, right?
Oh, no, all day.
And then everything else becomes about, well, you only get that if it's a market premium, if the house is in market premium condition, and most houses that are going to call off of that mailer are not going to apply. So like Corey said, it's about getting that appointment, right? And so is there anything different? So how do you the customers that are I have $2,500, or let's say it's $2,500 to send out 2,500 mailers. Let's just pretend for the fun of it. Okay. They've got the money ready to go, and they want to make a deal, but they have a full-time job. That's the reason why they have $2,500. What do you recommend to customers that are concerned about that phone ringing when they can't pick up?
So in some cases, I've even gone as far as not putting a phone number on the mailer. I did this in Louisiana, just one example. I'm not going to give all the examples that I got because there's way too many. But Louisiana, we did, we're not using a phone number on the mailer at all. We're only using the texting feature that we have. So what the texting feature supports is text XXX to XXX. And then in the event after they text in, the seller receives an automated text response. And then the buyer, the investor, the client, if you will, receives an email notification that contains the name, the mailing address, the property address, and the cell phone number. So like that is one option. Or hire a call porter. They'll answer the phone for you. You can hire us to answer the phone for you. We've got a full managed service where we answer the phone and follow up on leads as well. That's called, we just recently acquired REI Vault, soon to become REI Complete. So we too can have a conversation about what that ends up looking like.
Yeah, that's great. And so, all right, so we have, the general strategy is to use a unique selling proposition, use a unique offering to get someone to raise their hand. And so REI print mail has always been the king of the secret sauce when it comes to being able to create a lead off of the mailer. So start with choosing the right offer, and then make sure that you're putting the right offer in front of the right data. And so we would highly recommend working with the REI print mail team to talk through, what data they recommend to work through. And so, and then finally, maximizing conversions from a direct mail campaign, Corey. It's how do you maximize the conversion? So you get that person on the phone, you did all the hard work, you spend the money, they called in, now you got a live lead. How do you maximize a conversion from a direct mail campaign?
So for the folks just starting out, and to maximize the conversions from a direct mail campaign, sell the appointment. Whether you think you're going to waste your time or not, who cares? Sell on the appointment. So Dustin, what are you looking to get out of the property? Oh, 100K. That doesn't sound unreasonable depending on the condition of the home. Don't stop talking. When would be a good time for me to come and take a look at the property? Don't stop talking. I'm going to be available this weekend. I'm available Saturday, or does Sunday work better for you?
Yep.
That's it.
That don't stop talking is also assume the sale, right? Assume that the appointment's going to happen. Don't ask for an appointment. Say, I will be there. I can be in your neighborhood tomorrow at 3 p.m. or Wednesday at 11 a.m. What works better for you? And so assume the sale, and then get the appointment. So get the appointment, assume the sale to get the appointment is a better way. So that's right. So there's nothing better than belly to belly sales in real estate. Has been around for forever. And so the best way to transact in real estate is belly to belly sales. Second best is over the phone. And then, I know a lot of wholesalers that are almost only doing conversions over a text message. It's magical, but most people do not do that, or cannot do that, or should not do that, because people need someone that they can trust. They need to look somebody in the eyes. They need to shake their hand. They need to be like, that guy, Dustin, is not an asshole. And he'll be there for me when there's a problem that comes through, So make sure that you're pick up the phone and set that appointment. That's great.
Yeah. And that'll also set them apart from every other investor. So many other investors looking for that quick buck. They're beating the homeowner over the head, over price, over the phone. And if they're on a targeted mailing list because they meet certain stress points, I'm sure they're being marketed to from other angles, from other investors. So the way you can set yourself apart is just see the property, and I will guarantee you get more deals than the guys that are beating everybody across the head about price over the phone when the homeowner doesn't know you, they don't trust you. You're just another investor to them in their eyes. So that's the one way to be able to increase conversions, is go and walk the appointment. Whether you think it's a waste of time or not, you'll still get a learning exercise from walking properties, having conversations with potential homeowners that have an interest in selling their value, and then you get some education out of that process as well.
Oh, for sure. And then so there's nothing better than learning how to. We're going to Russell Shaw in Arizona is a big realtor, and so the only way to learn how to do a listing is going on those listing appointments. It's about getting at bats, right? And so if you don't have I haven't been on a listing appointment, and if I went to a home seller appointment, a wholesale appointment, I'd be rusty as it wouldn't go well, And so you have to keep yourself sharp, and you have to have that practice, and every appointment leads to a relationship, and every relationship has value in the real estate space. So,
always ask for a referral. Always ask. Do you know any? Do you have any other properties you'd have an interest in selling, or do you know anybody that needs help selling a property?
Oh, that's right. It's good. Birds of a feather flock together. The homeowners, both investors and owner occupants that are in a scenario that want to sell the house, they have friends that are doing the exact same situation. And so, we're in the business of real estate. We're in the business of relationships. Make sure you know how to leverage that.
Yep.
So what do you tell your customers to do? So the final part of conversion is mindset, right? Do you have any? I don't know how far REI Complete is planning on going towards. I know that everything comes with a coaching, attraction strategy related coaching program. Help me understand how you guys help with mindset and organizational management with your customer base.
So are we talking about REI Complete, the full managed service, or are we talking about REI Print Mail in general?
Well, Ari, I know that you guys, your coaches operate off of the traction system, so I was hoping that you might go into a little bit of the coaching side of your services.
Yeah, so the coaching aspect is mainly driven from the accumulated statistics that we've acquired over the years of sending mail into certain markets using specific mail pieces. And then with that data, we pass that on to you and say, based on Maricopa County industry average and response rates, this is about how much mail we need to mail to get a deal. And in Arizona, Maricopa County, it's closer to like 3,500 to 4,500 mailers will support getting a deal. And then moreover, on the coaching aspect, it's we're more like marketing coaches. However, to each is their own, right? There's 6 of us there. Everybody's a little bit different. I'm probably more of my mindset kind of guy. Like, you can do this and let's go out there and get it, man. You can do it. I see many people doing it. And then so when we get off the phone, they're all jacked up and ready to go.
Yeah.
We got to mail to ship.
Yeah, that's true. For sure. Well, I guess
the phone's gonna ring now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to that is when you do everybody it's about the story you tell yourself, right? And so I think where I'm going with that is when you're looking to maximize the conversion from direct mail or any other source, if you get on the phone and you don't match the energy of the person, if you're get on the phone and be like, oh, I got my kids yelling in the background and I got this going on and I got that going on, it's so critical to be in the present moment and ready to do your absolute best, put all of your energy into that call. Because if you don't, you'll lose a really, really valuable at bat,
All day long, dude. You couldn't have said that any better. And always, always come from a standpoint and a position of helping them. Right. How can I help you? What are you struggling with? And how can I help? And then once you define those pain points, if you will, you can leverage them. And there's even more things that go into the sales process too, like Dustin, how long have you been looking to sell this property? He answers. When was the last time you talked about this with your wife? He answers. And then you guys get down to the nitty gritty with the offer. And then they say, well, I need to think about it. Well, no, Dustin, you've already thought about it. You literally just had a conversation with your wife last night about selling it. And you've been thinking about it for the last 6 months. I want to buy it. I can buy it now as is. So like many times folks will try to blow you off. But if you can kind of push a little tiny bit towards the end, some people do need just a little tiny nudge to get moving.
That's the truth. Yeah, exactly. It's and again, that assume the close, right? You're going to assume that this is in their best interest. You're going to assume that they are going to sign that contract and that you talk with them and you communicate as if this is a foregone conclusion that these things are about to happen, and you win. And I love that you suggested that it's trying to serve the homeowner in the end. And we're real estate investors. We're operating on one side of the table, looking to accomplish our goals, but the seller is the most important part in this equation. And if we don't serve what they're looking to accomplish, then no one's going to be able to force anyone to sign a contract. As much as some of these guys want to force that deal to get done, no one's going to force anybody to do anything. And so it's really about being authentic to serving the homeowner's needs. They'll see right through it. If all you're looking for is a paycheck, then they'll see right through that. But if you're looking to help the homeowner in light of what you can accomplish because you're good at your business, then you'll win.
Couldn't have said that better.
So Corey brought a free $50 in Geopoint Data to the thing today. If you use the code Talk Data to Me 50, so the initials TDTM, that's T as in Tom, D as in dog, T as in Tom, M as in Mary. Talk Data to Me 50 for $50 in free data.
Awesome.
I'm sure you can use that coupon code, and Corey will be excited to have helped the community to the degree. And then Corey, how do people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about your services?
They could go. My calendar is available at corey.reiprintmail.com. If you type corey.reiprintmail.com in your web browser, it'll pop up my calendar. or you could shoot me an email at Corey, Corey, at reiprintmail.com.
Excellent. All right, I just put that in
Or
there.
Find me on social and shoot me a DM. I'm Corey Meeker on Facebook and the real Corey Meeker on Instagram.
How many Corey Meekers are trying to be the fake Corey Meeker? I mean, I'm gonna start making some accounts here.
There's a couple of them. They're good at that too, man. They will take all your stories and like they'll recreate you look exactly like you. So I'm the one where there's no extra R's and there's no extra E's or Y's or underscores. It's just the real Corey Meeker, the way it's all spelled exactly.
Yeah. See, Corey's famous on social media. I'm not famous enough to have my account stolen and reduplicated, but maybe one day.
You're getting there, Dustin.
Thanks, buddy. Just one daily steps,
Yeah. That's awesome.
All right, brother. Well, hey, listen, I really appreciate having you on, and it's your wealth of information. And guys, I want to encourage everybody. There's a lot of people struggling in this market shift, and so what I would definitely encourage you to do is start collecting leads. The sellers are sometimes not as realistic as they need to be in this shifting market, and so making sure that you're building the authority and the trust, the rapport to be there. The person that they rely on when they are ready to, come to terms with what this market is actually going to do to their, their wealth position, how much their house is worth, and when they want to cash in on that money. Make sure that you're collecting those leads, nurturing those leads, building rapport, and keep on at it, because the distress is coming, and the opportunities will be there. And the only thing you have to do is be there to take advantage of the opportunity. Super.
Yeah,
Corey, awesome. Anything else to leave? Any parting thoughts for the audience on how to kick some ass out there?
No, man. Just hit me up, and I'd be happy to help any and everybody. Let's get out there and win this game. There's a lot to win out there, and if you think it's saturated, it's not. It's just you got to get out there and get your name, get your message out in front of people, so that they can know who you are and what you do. Otherwise, nobody's ever going to do business with you.
That's right, Corey. Core.reiprintmail.com. You can schedule a meeting with Corey's calendar. And brother, I appreciate you and look forward to catching you again.
Yeah, you too, Dustin. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Till then, thanks again.